My name is AFLO the poet.
Don't perpetuate dark imaginings. Smile with your heart. Be honest with yourself.
They say history repeats itself, but it actually never left. Being reprimanded or cursed for knowing my worth leaves a hollow in my chest.
So stay down if you're down with the white institution. We're black and we're brown and we are the revolution. Hello wonderful people, my name is AFLO the poet and I would like to introduce you to another episode of AFLO and the Poets. We will be using this space to uplift the voices of black people and people of colour, and each episode I'll be inviting another poetic creative to chat with me and to share their work with all of you. 2020 has been a rough ride for many, particularly for the black community. Black Lives Matter has picked up a lot of momentum this year, with many people promising they would be listening to black voices from now on. Here is your opportunity. Throughout history, we have used creative outlets as a way of healing ourselves while sharing our messages with the wider community. And that is exactly what AFLO and the Poets is all about. We hope you enjoy the show. For our first poetic offering, I have a little one called Seagulls. Seagulls, scream gulls, steal your ice cream gulls, stop staring at me gulls, can I eat outside in peace? Seagulls, greedy gulls, beady-eyed thieving gulls, soundtrack to the seaside gulls, but any chance of keeping the noise down? Seagulls, banshee gulls, on a fish and chip shop spree gulls, those ketchup-stained beak gulls, they do whatever the hell they want. Seagulls, I'm pleading gulls, please stop staring at me gulls with wingspans as big as an albatross's. If they're after your sandwich, just cut your losses. Those large, loud guys in grey and white suits are the bosses of the beach. Seagulls, scream gulls, hear them harking in your sleep gulls. That symphony used to be the sound of holidays, but now it's the sound of home. Hello, and thank you for joining us again on AFLO and the Poets. And welcome, Jade Hylton.
Thank you for having me.
So, Jade, you are an incredible, multi-talented creative, but can you break it down? What is it that you do?
That's a bit of a loaded question, but I do a lot of different things. That's why I call myself a creative. So I guess I started off working on collage when I was at college. And then I went on to photography, working in a photo lab. So I gained skills there. I worked for I actually worked for The Latest magazine for a few months, and some other local magazines for a couple of years. So I'm a journalist as well, I guess. And then I've always been a bit of a poet since I was younger. My mum was always a poet, so always writing poetry, should I say.
I think that makes you a poet.
Yeah.
I think we're all poets.
Yeah, we are, aren't we? We're all poets at heart. So I do a plethora of creative things. I try to not call myself one single thing. I don't like to pigeonhole myself.
No, good for you. And you shouldn't be pigeonholed because you're doing great things in all these different areas. And the incredible artwork we have behind us today, thank you so much for providing that.
My pleasure.
Would you mind telling us a little bit about one of them?
Yeah, I mean, I can speak about both of them. It's quite a story, actually, as to how I found this style. I had a bit of an idea about wanting to draw portraits of black women with different hairstyles. And I had a slight idea of the technique I wanted to use, but it wasn't something I'd ever really done before. I'd never had any confidence in drawing portraits. And one day I did this one drawing and it sort of just rolled from then. And then I started adding colour, started adding things like head wraps and dreadlocks, as you can see in one of them. And then I started drawing my friends, which is the one with the girl with the flowers behind her. That's a good friend of mine, activist, cultural PhD student. She's amazing.
She is amazing.
And yeah, she, what do you call it? She gave me the inspiration for this piece.
No, that's great. I love all the flowers behind her. It's sort of, I think it shows that there's so much within someone. And I like that you've left her figure blank. And then with your other style, with all the lines, I feel like it kind of shows how we're as black women, we're fragmented.
I never really
Is
thought
what
about it like that.
I read. Is what I read of that. Like, we're all one. We're one being, but actually we're made up of lots of different things. And I guess that's very true for you.
Yeah, I really like that. I like to hear other people's interpretation of my art. It's very interesting. It helps me have a little bit more to say about it to other people.
I'm glad I can help you out. But we also have some of your poems as well to share.
Yes.
So we're going to go into that next. Jade has got a few poems on the black experience.
I wish being black was cool when I went to school. I wish I could have been more comfortable in my blackness when I went to school. I wish people didn't tease me about my afro when I went to school. I wish I didn't straighten my hair when I went to school. I wish my curves didn't feel like fat when I went to school. I wish people didn't refer to me as Black Jade when I went to school. I wish my teachers didn't call me by the names of other black girls when I went to school. I wish the black girls had more unity when I went to school. I wish people didn't imitate my heritage's tongue for the crack when I went to school. I wish I was taught by a black teacher when I went to school. I wish I was educated about black history, real history, when I went to school. I wish I was more unapologetic when I went to school. I wish being black was cool when I went to school. There's more back there than what is here. Not token, blind broken, black woken, outspoken. Ethical, ethnical, hysterical, commercial tool. Abducted nest for your own test. Shot offence, death confessed. Wide nose, cane rose, black toes, rhythmic flow. It's not all this, but listen, miss. There's more back there than what is here. And Badu said, a man that knows all should know he knows nothing at all. Blackout. I cried today because I was seen for the woman I have become, the prized soul I've cultivated. I cried because my brothers and sisters reached out and they pulled me up. And when I got up there, I cried. The tears ran down my face as I turned and faced behind me, as I pulled the brothers and sisters that were behind me. I cried when I saw the view, what was going on below, and winced at what I could see above me. I was pulling them up, but for every one I pulled up, two fell from above. I cried, I ripped my muscles, burst the veins in my forehead, sweat, snot, tears, trying to chase the drop. I cried because like they saw me, I saw them. I saw my men and my women grow, and their souls, they were so bright like black stars in a white sky, about to burst and devour themselves. Was this the nature? No. Down here it's all man-made, rivers made of our tears, boats of bones. I cried as I swam and I fought and I tore through, though what I was fighting was nothing I could see. Not through these tears. Black soul. I have a black soul. Embody the black swan and tread this earth with black souls. Made black lists of black comedies and dark humour, blackwashed my black ass and bounced down to the black market of the dark side of town. I'll wear black threads when I get wed, invited to black male and black females, brothers and sisters. Not just that black friend, that black sheep. I'll back chat with black chat, always talk back like a dark horse, woken black cat with black magic, fevered dark powers in this darkest hour with my black soul and my black life that now matters.
Jade, there was so much power there. I'm not quite sure what to choose. But particularly your experience of being at school and being black, that resonated so hard. So hard.
Thank you.
And you kind of took us from like your childhood all the way up to now with Black Soul, with your black life that matters so much now.
Yeah.
Can you tell a bit more about what you were trying to do with that poem?
With Black Soul, I found that it was really important. You know, we throw around these words that have real negative connotations towards the word black, like black sheep, black market, all the ones that were in the poem, basically.
Blackmailing.
Yeah. And I just wanted to sort of switch that around and be like, yeah, you might see it as dark or negative, but I'm going to change the meaning of that and I'm going to empower that word and I'm going to make it my own.
Black stars in the white sky. I loved that.
Thank you.
Love it all
I
so
actually
much.
wrote that poem, Blackout. I wrote that the day after, or Blackout Tuesday, I wrote that.
Ah.
Yeah. I
So
felt
you've
that.
had a lot of inspiration as of late.
Oh, yeah.
Well, we've got even more of your poems coming up after the break, so make sure you join us for the next part of AFLO and the Poets with Jade Hylton. My name is AFLO the Poet.
Don't perpetuate dark imaginings. Smile with your heart. Be honest with yourself.
They say history repeats itself, but it actually never left. Being reprimanded or cursed for knowing my worth leaves a hollow in my chest.
So stay down if you're down with the white institution. We're black and we're brown and we are the revolution.
Anxiety. I sit here and I sit here and I wait for something to change. I watch my coffee cool and my smokes burn and I wait for a decision to be made. I ask myself and I ask my ego. I rub my face and I cut my chin. I watch the sun rise as I sit in this place and don't move. I wait for a decision to be made. And I sit and I think. I sit and I sit. Maybe I'll find a hidden frequency, a secret or something that might change. My feet are cold, yet my armpits sweat. My stomach turns, my back is rolled. I throw my cards to read, but I don't trust my hand, my eyes, my head, my heart. The dawn is too bright and the dusk is too dark. I listen to laughter through walls and life-breaking floors. And I sit and I wait. My box is empty, my list is full. And so I wait for a decision to be made. My time ticks on, the morning's almost gone. My coffee is cool. I try to stand, I think to stand, and still I sit. And so I wait. The self-service social acts. I judge you. I judge the way you look, the way your lips turn up, the broadness of your crown. I judge you. I judge you on your success, on your groupies, your fans, and how many friends you have. I judge you on your height, on what sort of lover you have. I judge you on how long you've been with that lover and all the lovers you could have had. I judge you on the men who want to be your lover and not mine. I watch your virtual world and judge you and judge me and compare your fantasy to my reality. I look at the fabrications of this tapestry of life you hold in front of me and try to find a loose thread so I can pull on it and feel a satisfaction you might at pulling grass from the ground or peeling glue dried from the back of your hand. Drown. We consume quickly, we expect now, we want a lot, we need a little, we fight for goods, we lead blindly, we eat, we buy, we dispose, we pretend, we say, but we don't do. We lie, crocodile tears, impaling fears we never hear, was never there, we never saw. We could have done, but we don't. Feel the truth, don't speak it. Look into light, back to dark, climbing up, crashing down. Manifestation, not degradation. Fingers bleeding, clawing, I can't breathe. I'm drowning. Or it. Biting the knots behind my bottom lip. My heart weeps, a physical ache. It doesn't want to belong to me anymore. Or it. It tugs on the skin of my breast. I take a deep breath, try to stretch it out, rub it with my fist. I think I'm suffering with sadness, a sadness that is there because of me. Or it. I pull back my shoulders. I try warm what just gets colder. Maybe it's my head and all the worries it's fed. I take a deep breath. I hope it leaves me. Or it. Only child. First birth, first thirst, first cursed, first burned. First sweet, first heart, first cherry, first pop. First race, first chase, first place, first lace. First head, first chest, for me to rest. First thought, first word, first love, first lie. Thirst quenched, cursed cured, first death, first cried. Elements of reincarnation, tear my thoughts, bear lucid haunts, and try to drag me to decline. See, your devils speak, won't work with me, because your will does not amount to mine. You think you'd have me at your heel, but for myself, my soul has stronger will. Haha, you fool. Me? I am not new. I've been here before, more than a few. This ground I placed my feet, for more than once to me sweet greets. Each time I left with more to weep, but stronger still my soul's to keep. Skin that's soft and curves earth's way, and not one conscience have I to pay. To keep my prodigy plentiful still, for beauty of secrets this body doth nil. Yet ugly truths seep through to ego, for on this plane what's known must grow. Once ancient idols' prophecy, and archangel's omen legacy, to unchosen destiny I tilt my hat, for feline's fortune, what life's an act? I fret for ninth, shall it come now, in prayers to ocean's ebb, my heads shall bow. Nature's milk was your first drink, now think of this before you think, and tell me what you feel is next, for foolish minds predict your hex, and life seems to bring a strength of vex, but holds skies high with crooked neck. Please, with third eye you must now check, for folly's war, the game at hand, and we are but the wind's time's final plan. Mantra. Don't pull people down. Elevate yourself. Love yourself through your own eyes, not by the envy of others. Do everything with intention and do so only to satisfy what good you need, not what you think you deserve. Don't perpetuate dark imaginings. Smile with your heart. Be honest with yourself.
Jade, thank you so much for bearing your soul in those poems.
Thank you for having me and bearing my soul in those poems.
No, I feel everything that you said really resonates, and I'm going to be, when this episode comes, I'm going to be watching it again and again and again because I want to get more of your words. But particularly Mantra, that last one, was so succinct and so, you got everything in it. What does that poem mean to you?
I wrote that poem when I was going for a really hard mental time at that, mental health at that time. You know, I was really sort of looking too much on social media. I was giving myself way too high expectations, and I was judging my successes on other people's successes and failures.
That won't get you far.
Yeah, so it just sort of came to me. It's a bit of like my desiderata, if you want to call it that, where it just sort of, it recenters me. So yeah, it's a really important thing that I have to always go back to.
Yeah, yeah. I think it can be so easy to lose sight of ourselves because we're shown so many people so often.
Yeah, and that's where self-service, social acts as well, why I wrote that. It's the first time I've actually it's the first time I've read it out in public. And I was a little bit nervous about it because obviously the repetition of I judge you, brings on the anxiety or fear of people judging me for judging them. But I think we all have that in us when we are on social media, Instagram, and then there's just the instant, you know, thread of you seeing what you're not doing.
Yeah. Yeah, which can make you feel so guilty and make you lose sight of all that you are doing. And you are doing so much. And I'm glad that you managed to write that mantra for yourself to bring you back to that.
Thank you. And I think it's important as well for people to, you know, you can look at my Instagram and you might judge me the same way that I judge you. And I think a lot of people do. You know, I do a lot of work and I do try to stay very focused and determined in what I do. But I have my down days. You know, life comes in ebbs and waves.
It really does. And we do all have our down days. And it's not that we should have to put ourselves on show when we're having our down days, but I think it's important to know that we do all have them and to be really honest and open about them. But Jade, unfortunately, we're coming to the end of the episode. But thank you so much for sharing everything with us today. If you want to see more of Jade's work, you can head over to her Instagram at _Hylton with a Y. Where else can we find your work?
So I also have my online portfolio, which is Jade Hylton, HYLTON.wordpress.com.
Amazing. Fabulous. Well, make sure you check out her work, and thank you so much, Jade, for joining us today.
Thank you so much for having me. It's been more than a pleasure.
We are all poets. We are all poets, whether we know it or not. Maybe you knew you were once, and maybe you forgot. Maybe someone told you had to rhyme, and maybe you felt you didn't have the time to make the words sound good together, let alone memorize them. But I've got something to tell you, and it may be a little surprising, but we are all poets, and that's including you, my dear. So wear that label with pride and do not live in fear, because you don't have to share your words. No, you can keep them to yourself. Maybe one day you'll share them with someone else, but that won't make you a poet. No, because you have been a poet from the word go. Poets are creatures with feelings who yearn to be understood and understand. It doesn't matter if you type on your phone or use a pencil in your hand. Maybe there are no words, but a picture or performance instead. Regardless, just breathing makes you a poet. At least that's the rule in my head. Thank you for joining us for another episode of AFLO and the Poets. We hope you will join us on the next one. In the meantime, stay safe and take care.